Bring the lights down low, it's time to show. Lights, camera, you know what we mean. Behold the magic of the silver screen. Some movies rock, some movies shock, they're powerful, alright. We cover them all on your favorite part. So many movies we can choose, even when you win, you lose. Life moves pretty fast, some will fizzle and some movies last. I understood there would be no math, it's the 30-something movie podcast. Be excellent to each other, please add a word to your mother. They're from the best decades, movie magic that never fades. Lightsabers clash, phasers set to stun, action packed from dusk till dawn. We have deep thoughts and questions three, come share our love of the movies we see. Life moves pretty fast, some will fizzle and some movies last. I understood there would be no math, it's the 30-something movie podcast.
It is the 30-something movie podcast, and it is a very, very special episode today. This is one of our 10th anniversary rewatch episodes. We are doing Who Framed Roger Rabbit from 1988. We did this one all the way back in episode number 170, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. That was you before we started recording. You had pointed out that was when we were doing like 2 topics per episode, and it was the Roger Rabbit and 80s cartoons.
Yeah, and I know we've talked 80s cartoons on more than just that episode, but
Yeah.
I think that one specifically, it tied in well with Roger Rabbit.
Yeah. As you can probably tell, I haven't introduced him yet, but you can probably hear alongside me here are the dulcet tones of Jeff Mazuka. Jeff, how are you doing?
The what tones?
Dulcet?
How dare you?
I don't think it's infamous?
Infamous?
The infamous Jeffrey Mazuka.
The infamous.
Infamous. Wow. Infamous.
Infamous.
Yeah. I'm excited to be able to be here with the infamous Jeff Mazuka.
I'm excited to be able to be here, period.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't often these days.
I know. So
I figure since I'm the one that put this movie on the list, should probably be the one to be part of this episode.
Might as well show up for it and not, Yeah, no, I know this is one of your favorite movies of all time, so I'm like, nope, we can't do this episode without Jeff.
Well, I appreciate it, and I'm bummed that the other guys couldn't make it to the recording session.
Well, it's just because they don't love us.
Well, yeah, I get that a lot too.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
I just cuddle with my Roger Rabbit plush because
Okay. There you go. Sometimes that's all you can do.
a lot of the times that's all I can do.
Yes, have some. All right. So very quickly, we spoil as we talk. So if we start to mention another movie or something else that you don't want to hear about, maybe just hit the skip button a couple times, and we should have moved past it. Also, make sure you visit our website, 30andthewordpodcast.com. You can leave a rating there, leave a voicemail there as well if you want to talk to us, and we'll play it on the show and respond to it. Unless you tell us not to. We don't have to play it on the show if you don't want us to. Or you can become a co-executive producer via Patreon, and that is where we've got a group of folks that are over there supporting the show financially so that we can keep this thing going, and it helps cover some of the costs. We do it for fun, and we know that you listen because you love movies too. So if this is something, if you find this show valuable, if we have given you any kind of joy whatsoever over time, then if you find it valuable and you'd like to go over there and join us at any level to become a co-executive producer, we would absolutely love to have you over there. And we are so thankful for the people that do that each and every month.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Remember, tell us the movies that you really love so we can help Patrick find a reason to hate them.
Yes. Because we are always looking to add more Patreon folks. So if we can find movies for Patrick to hate and to talk about that publicly, then I feel like that's when we get an uptick. Problem is he's tried to be too nice lately, and I think that's why we haven't had as many new Patreon folks.
No, see, the issue is he's always nice.
Well, I guess that's true.
He's always nice, and it's a breath of fresh air when otherwise surrounded by a bunch of grumpy people like we usually are.
Yeah.
But every now and again, when you can get him going on something like saying that, I don't know, Pearl Harbor is one of the most historically accurate movies ever made, and then just sit back and watch it happen.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember when did that movie come out? Was that 97?
I was just thinking about that. I mean, when are we covering that one?
Oh, 2001. It's still like 6 years away. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
All right. It might be a bit. Huh. Okay. Well, in my mind I was trying to make it further away. I tried to get further away from it.
Yeah.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. 2001. We could do it as like a Patreon or a special episode next year, because then that would be the 25th anniversary of the Pearl Harbor movie.
We'll have to see how
There's-
Patrick feels about that.
There's a lot of options.
He might recuse himself from the recording.
That's true. We could trick him into coming to that recording by telling him it's something else.
Tell him we're doing a revisit of Batman '89 because
Yes.
a new idea has surfaced on the interwebs that you wanted to get our opinions about.
Yes. And then once we've got him there, we should do it as an in-person recording too.
So we just can't make him
Right.
Can't.
Once we've got him there, we lock the doors. Yes.
I love this plan.
It's sounding.
part of it.
I feel like it's sounding more and more like the podcasting version of Saw.
That has kind of just given it a different feel.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe we won't torture the lad, but at some point we will. I can almost guarantee we probably will eventually cover the Pearl Harbor movie on this podcast, just because we know Pat's thoughts on it. And honestly, I don't know that I've ever watched it from beginning to end. So
I want to say that I have, but that could be a lie because
Okay.
I don't know that I have watched it from beginning to end.
because you don't want to be associated with it.
I've seen parts of it
Yeah.
that I found very questionable.
Okay. All right.
It's very much a Michael Bay film.
Yes.
And we'll just leave it at that until 2001,
The man who is perpetually 11 years old.
2031.
And ugh. Man, we're going to be old by then. I mean, we're old now, but
Yeah,
we're going to
I
be
was gonna say,
much
what-
older.
by then.
Much older by then.
Speaking of, can we just give a birthday shout out to Dee over at the Shirley podcast,
Absolutely.
who's turning the ripe young age of, was it 50?
I believe so.
50 years old. Hey,
Yeah.
happy birthday, man.
Happy
Waited
birthday,
for
Dee.
Aaron. Congratulations on all those miles you've traveled since you've been able to count miles.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did you see that? He did a post about having traveled, I don't know, billions of miles.
Oh, no. No, I don't know. The last few days I've kind of been disconnected from a lot of stuff. If it's not related to school and stuff like that, I've been a little disconnected. So I haven't been as connected to listening to all my other podcasts and looking at things on the interwebs and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So no, I go check it out.
Yeah, he did. He applied a whole lot of math to turning
Okay.
50. I was impressed by that. let
Okay.
alone
Well,
the
that
number of miles he's calculated that he's walked in his lifetime.
well there is a specific reason why I might have avoided that post as well.
It was my understanding that there would be no math.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Well, our movie this time around is, as I said, the 10th anniversary rewatch. So this is one of these movies. Since this is our 10th anniversary year of the podcast, we are going back and we are picking one movie each month to take a look at that we have recorded an episode on sometime in our 10-year history here. This one was one of Jeff's picks. It was the Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like I said, we did this back in, what would that have been? The early days of 2018.
January of 2018.
January of 2018. So when we were just babies and we didn't know what the world was like. And yeah.
So speaking of, one of the things that I've always thought about this movie is I can't wait to show it to my kids
Yeah.
whenever I have kids.
Yeah.
And at the time that we recorded this, I had no children.
Yeah.
And now I have 3.
Yeah.
And I bring that up because I do want to talk about a little bit about, that idea and how I've revisited if and when I actually want to turn this into a big spectacle when we sit down and watch it together.
Sure. Yeah.
There are things that I've thought about further in terms of how would they respond to it, knowing what they've been able to see now as what's considered standard.
Yeah.
They're not going to have the same response to it that I had.
Sure.
I saw it, right? I mean, one of the big things that my big reaction to it was, how did they do that?
Right.
Because it wasn't done.
Yeah.
at least, and definitely not to that magnitude.
Right.
Combining animation and live action was very much a two-dimensional plane.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie figured out how to turn it into a three-dimensional plane.
Yeah.
And that really blew my mind at the time, which is one of the reasons why I love going back and watching it, is because I go back to that me at almost 10 years old watching this movie for
Yeah.
the first 11 years old watching this movie and just sitting there going, how, what?
Yeah.
They did what? How did they, what?
Yeah.
And again, knowing now that, what my kids are exposed to in terms of the shows that they watch, even cartoons that they watch,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to have that reaction to seeing this rabbit interact with three-dimensional objects and real people.
Right. Right. Well, and I think about that too, because growing up, and the other part of that is just the prior knowledge of all the characters that are in this movie, not just the technology of it. Because I remember growing up and thinking, you had like what was it, Pete's Dragon. I was just trying to think like some of the early Disney stuff where they did try to mix live action with animation. You had moments of it in some movies. I think Mary Poppins, you had some, but Pete's Dragon, that was almost the entire movie, the character of the dragon. But again, that was specific moments in the movie where you had the animation interacting with the live action. For this to be the entire movie, and then not only that, to have the background knowledge of growing up, I watched Bugs Bunny, I watched Woody Woodpecker, I watched, all the Garfield cartoons, I watched the Disney stuff. So anytime a character comes on the screen in this movie, I have that background knowledge of, oh, I know that one. Oh, I know that. Look at this scene that has 20 different characters in it. I know that one and 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 that one. But even my kids who are a little bit older than your kids, they didn't grow up on Bugs Bunny and Looney Tunes quite the way we did.
Well, and they wouldn't have the concept. I don't think, I'm not going to speak for your kids, but I know when I first saw it, I definitely understood that Bugs Bunny represented an entirely different company than Mickey Mouse.
Right. They don't hang out with each other.
And to see them together in the same movie on screen at the same time was also like in my mind going like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Like everything in this movie just kept escalating. How do they do that? What are these guys doing together?
Yeah.
How are Daffy and Donald on stage at the same time?
Right.
That's crazy. How are Mickey and Bugs on screen at the same time? That's, that doesn't happen.
This was almost like, what was I have been when this movie came out? I would have been about 8 years old when this movie came out. So this would have been like an 8-year-old moment. The closest thing I can try to figure that this would be related to would be like watching Avengers Endgame and seeing all of the heroes come on the screen at one time, and that kind of culminating in the, I'm a huge comic book and superhero fan, so this movie has like the most mixed up amalgamation of like these comics, and you never see these people together, but here's a movie where every single one of these characters is all in one place. The only thing that would make it bigger if it was some kind of Marvel and DC crossover that they had both. But like I try to equate this to the feeling I have as an adult and seeing Avengers Endgame in that scene where all the heroes are coming through the portals at the end of the movie and whatnot, and looking back to 8-year-old John feeling the same thing of like exactly what you said. Wait a minute. Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny don't hang out together. Like they're not in the same cartoons. And even little 8-year-old me recognizes this. Like these are not typically in the same room.
Well, and the only other time I remember seeing anything of that magnitude was I want to say it was a Saturday morning cartoon special.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it aired at prime time, but it featured Saturday morning cartoon characters from different networks and different companies. It was like a Say No to Drugs
Okay.
sort of special. And they had a lot of the different animated characters from different Saturday morning cartoons, all in the same thing.
Okay.
Same message. And I remember watching that as a kid going, holy cow, the Ninja Turtles are hanging out with G.I. Joe, out with the Smurfs, they're hanging out with the Muppet Babies, they're hanging out like these groups don't ever cross. This is a huge crossover event.
I do have to say the first time I ever recognized something like that was actually kind of early on. It was the wedding at the end of Muppets Take Manhattan when I was like, what is Big
Yes.
Bird doing there?
Yes.
Like, why is Big Bird in the in the pews? Like that this is a Muppet movie.
And then it does a smash cut to like the whole like Sesame Street. Like Ernie and Bert have a little back and forth, right?
I think so. I think they're in there, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, as a kid, that was like I don't know. For us, that was mind blowing. I don't know that for our kids it has the same effect just because they didn't grow up watching the same things that we did. So, you know, for them, this movie, like you said, this may not have the impact. So that was every time you've said that, like you're really excited to show this to your kids. Like in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, then I hope it goes really well because I can also see how you could take this and it could be one of your favorite movies ever. You show it to your kids and they're like, all right.
Right. Like that thought has entered my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and one of the reasons why I haven't like been like, okay, guys, we're gonna sit. This is gonna be our movie tonight. This is gonna be an amazing movie. You're gonna love every like. For them, I think it's gonna come down to, is the story interesting enough?
Yeah.
Is the story going to be compelling enough? I don't think it's not going to be the animation and live action that's going to get their attention.
Yeah.
That's going to be a whole lot of been there, done that.
Right.
They'd be more interested in trying to follow the story.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we dive on into some of our other thoughts about this movie, let's go ahead. We'll run through some of the trivia of this one. It is Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Came out on the 22nd of June, 1988, rated PG, with a runtime of 1 hour, 44 minutes, directed by Robert Zemeckis, who did Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, and Castaway. Produced by Frank Marshall, did Raiders of the Lost Ark, Empire of the Sun. Also produced by Robert Watts, who was a producer for the first 3, 4 through 6 Star Wars movies, Alive and Last Crusade. Writers were for this one were Gary K. Wolfe, who did the novel, who plugged Roger Rabbit, and Jeffrey Price did the screenplay. He also did Doc Hollywood and Wild Wild West. Peter S. Seaman also did the screenplay. He did Doc Hollywood and Wild Wild West. Alan Silvestri did the music. He also did Predator and Captain America, Back to the Future, and Ready Player One. Cinematography was Dean Cundy. He did Hook and Apollo 13. Budget was $50.6 million, and box office was $329.8 million. So it did okay financially.
Yeah, it did.
Just a bit. Bob Hoskins, who passed away in 2014, was Eddie Valiant. He was in Hook and Super Mario Brothers. Christopher Lloyd was Judge Doom. He was in the Back to the Future movies, Star Trek 3, and Clue. Joanna Cassidy was Dolores. She was in Blade Runner and Superman animated series. Charles Fleischer was Roger Rabbit, Benny the Cab, Greasy, and Psycho. He was in Nightmare on Elm Street and Back to the Future 2. Stubby Kaye, who had died in 1997, played Marvin Acme. He was in Guys and Dolls and Lil Abner. Alan Tilvern, who died in 2003, was R.K. Maroon. He was in Superman and Little Shop of Horrors. Richard LaParmente, who died in 2013, played Lieutenant Santino. He was in Superman 2 and Star Wars. Lou Hirsch was Baby Herman. He was in Superman 3 and Haunted Honeymoon. Betsy Brantley was Jessica's performance model. She's not bad. She's just drawn that way. She was in Princess Bride and Deep Impact.
Boo.
And David L. Lander played Smart Ass. He was the head weasel. He was in Laverne and Shirley and Titan A.E. I've got just a few random trivia things here. And I'm sure you've got a few to throw in here as well, but some fun ones on here. Warner Brothers had required that their cartoon characters like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck receive just as much screen time as Disney's. So I think they almost always appeared in pairs in the movie.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Although I'm trying to think of, are there any times either company has characters that pop up that, well, Yosemite Sam gets his own screen time.
He does, yeah.
Porky Pig kind of gets his own screen time.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, are there any, well, Disney got Dumbo and Fantasia brooms.
Yeah. I guarantee there has to have been somebody with a stopwatch from each company sitting there while they were editing this movie together.
Yeah, I guess all of that would pan out.
Yeah. I think this is something we might have shared the first time around when we recorded this one, but the 3 ingredients of dip that kills Toons is turpentine, acetone, and benzene, which are all paint thinners, which would be used to remove animation from cells.
They are not kid gloves.
Mm-mm. That was scary stuff, too, even as a kid. Like the whole idea of the dip and what it would do to the cartoons. And that's the other reason probably to like hold off and not show it to young children.
Right. But I mean, God, like, another reason why to my 10-year-old mind why this movie was so great
Yeah.
is that it shy away from getting dark.
Right. Yeah.
And I want to say it was touted to be a family film,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, like it didn't shy away from getting dark. So for me, at 10 years old, equating everything I know about cartoons as being these are things that are fun and meant to be enjoyed, and all of a sudden you've got this guy coming in talking about how to eradicate cartoons for
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is like nightmare fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Why would anyone want to do that to a cartoon? And then they show it, that poor shoe that gets picked up and lowered into the dip.
Yeah. His soul was not prepared.
No.
Mm-hmm. Supposedly, Bill Murray was originally the first choice for Eddie Valiant. And do you recall who the first choice was for Judge Doom before they got Christopher Lloyd?
I know I heard this recently. I don't remember.
One of our favorites and a co-star in the movie Clue.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
That would have been a really cool thing to see.
Yeah.
Bill Murray as Eddie Valiant, I don't think would have worked.
No, to be able to play opposite the cartoons, you had to have a Bob Hoskins who's a little gruff and a little, rough around the edges and plays it seriously.
But Bob Hoskins knows how to be the straight man.
Yeah.
Bill Murray at that time in his career was not doing straight man roles.
No.
So even when he needed to be the straight man, it would still be some sort of comedic take on it.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad we got the version we got. Now, Tim Curry as Judge Doom could have been interesting, but I think Christopher Lloyd is amazing in it.
That would have, Tim Curry would have been terrifying, I think.
Yes. I'm just thinking of all the other stuff Tim Curry has ever been in. I'm like, no, yeah, that's, you want to talk about giving children nightmares. I could see that.
We all float here. Yeah, golly. I would pay money to see that. If there's any footage of any test screenings or script reads or anything, I would love to hear that, because I love Tim Curry's work, and I think he would have been a very manipulative Judge Doom.
Yeah.
Knowing, how to be the politician, how to schmooze the people that you need to schmooze. And
yeah.
Although I feel as though maybe by casting him as Judge Doom, you're tipping your hat to the audience, saying, here's your overall villain.
Right. Right. Because if you know Christopher Lloyd, you're not thinking of him as being the villain right now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't like when you get to the reveal that he A is a Toon.
Yeah.
B is responsible for Eddie's brother's death.
Yeah.
Like, I found that to be, again, at 10, quite shocking. And at the time, I didn't know to look for that or be thinking about that or making those connections. But I feel like by casting Tim Curry in that role, you're pretty much saying, like, this is bigger than just a judge.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Do you have any other trivia stuff you want to share? We've got the
I don't.
trailer audio and whatnot, but
I'm ill prepared with.
Oh, that's all right.
Trivia. I didn't even think about finding trivia. I was just excited to talk about this movie.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Well, and I think for a movie like this, most of the people listening in, if they haven't seen Roger Rabbit, I'd be a little shocked.
If they haven't seen it, they should stop now.
Pause.
And
yes.
Watch.
Come back. We'll still be here.
We will. Still talking about it.
Yeah. All right. Oh, and as we were kind of talking about some of the technical stuff earlier, I guess the last little piece of trivia I have here on my notes was for this movie, the animation director, Richard Williams, decided he was going to set out to break the 3 rules that were previously conventions for combining live action and animation. One was move the camera as much as possible so the toons don't look pasted on flat backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
Second, use lighting and shadows to an extreme that was never before attempted.
Check.
And third, have the toons interact with real-world objects and people as much as possible.
Check.
Yeah. So, yes, I guess if you're going to give yourself the challenge and just be like, yep, we're going to take everything we've ever done before and break it.
Well, and that was such a nice balance, too. When I was rewatching it the other day,
Mm-hmm.
I was paying close attention to all the times that the Toons were interacting with real world objects.
Yeah.
And as much of it was done to be able to say, look what we can do now.
Yeah.
None of it felt like we're showing off what we can do.
Yeah.
It all felt very appropriate for the story.
Yeah.
So they weren't having the Toons interact with things that, I mean, maybe the weasels chasing Benny the cab stuff, and that might have been a little over the top, but overall, like, as a Toon bumps into a trash can or chair or Holt, picks up a handkerchief or a glass or plates, like, all of it made sense in the context that it was in. So you're not sitting there going, well, now they're just showing off.
Right.
This is, they're trying too hard to incorporate this new ideology.
Yeah. Yeah, just did an amazing job of making a living, breathing world. All right. We're going to we're going to play the trailer audio here in just a moment, and then we've broken the plot down into 10 major moments. If it's been a little while since you've seen it, but you have seen it, again, if you haven't seen it, stop this right now. Go watch it, and then come back. But if you haven't seen it, we'll break it down into the 10 major moments, and then we will dive on into some of our deeper thoughts here. But it's a twist.
And I know we often say on this podcast, stop now, go watch it, and then come back. But for real, for this movie, I think you would be doing yourself a favor to stop now, go watch it.
Yes.
And then come back and listen to the commentary that we're gonna
provide. If you've never seen it before, you absolutely should do that.
Yeah. All right, let's hear some audio.
All right, let's do it. In a twisted world where cartoons and humans collide, sometimes literally, Toon star Roger Rabbit is framed for murder. Only the hard-boiled detective Eddie Valiant, with help from Jessica Rabbit and Dolores, can untangle the conspiracy before Judge Doom erases ToonTown forever.
Mommy's going to the beauty parlor, darling. But I'm leaving you with your favorite friend, Roger. He's going to take very, very good care of you. Because if he doesn't, he's going back to the science lab.
Cut! What the hell is wrong with that take? Nothing with you, baby Herman. You were great. You were perfect. You were better than perfect. Just Roger. He keeps blowing his lines. Roger, what's this? A tweeting bird. Tweeting bird. Roger, read the script. Look what it says. It says rabbit gets clunked. Rabbit sees stars. Not birds. Stars! Can we lose the playback, please? You're killing me, killing me. For crying out loud, Roger. How many times do we have to do this damn scene? Raoul, I'll be in my trailer. Taking a nap. Excuse me,
Please, Raoul, I can give you stars. Just drop the refrigerator in my head one more time.
Roger, I dropped on your head 23 times already.
I can take it. Don't worry about me.
I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the refrigerator.
This is the tale of an up-and-coming movie star named Roger Rabbit and a down-and-out private detective named Eddie Valiant.
Ooga booga.
Every moment they were together was a new adventure in trouble.
Hide me, Eddie. Please.
It's a motion picture about friendship,
Take it easy, Billy. Please, Eddie. Don't tell me you're making a big mistake.
love, compassion,
All right, I'm sorry I yanked your ears.
All the time you yanked my ears?
murder,
Marvin Acme. The rabbit cacked him last night.
Remember, you never saw me.
sex,
I'd do anything for my husband, Mr. Valiant. Anything.
and violence.
Toons gets him every time.
You wouldn't have any idea where the rabbit might be?
Got a thing for rabbits, huh? The whole thing stinks like yesterday's diapers.
It's a comedy a little different from all the rest.
I'm a pig. I'm a Toon.
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket, or you just happy to see me?
Touchstone Pictures and Steven Spielberg present a Robert Zemeckis film.
We Toons may act idiotic, but we're not stupid.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
All right. 10 major moments for this one. In 1947, Los Angeles, private detective Eddie Valiant, still grieving his brother's murder by a Toon, is hired by R.K. Maroon of Maroon Cartoon Studios. Maroon wants Eddie to confirm rumors that Roger Rabbit's wife, Jessica, is cheating with Marvin Acme, owner of both the Acme Corporation and ToonTown. So Eddie follows Jessica to the exclusive Ink and Paint Club, where she performs a sultry number. He secretly photographs her and Acme playing an overly intimate game of patty cake and delivers the photos to Roger, who is heartbroken and disappears in distress. The next morning, Marvin Acme is found dead, flattened by a safe. Evidence at the scene points to Roger, making him the prime suspect. Judge Doom, ToonTown's corrupt magistrate, arrives with his weasel henchman, threatening to execute Roger with the deadly dip, a chemical that can kill Toons. Baby Herman tells Eddie that Acme's recently missing will may be the key to ToonTown's ownership, as it supposedly leaves the city to the Toons. When Eddie returns to his office, Roger is there begging for help. Reluctantly, Eddie finally agrees to hide him with the help of his girlfriend, Dolores. Jessica Rabbit reveals that she only agreed to be photographed with Acme to protect Roger's career under threat from Maroon. Meanwhile, Dolores uncovers that Cloverleaf Industries, already buying up the Pacific Electric Railway, plans to acquire ToonTown at midnight unless Acme's will is found, suggesting that there is a little bit of a sinister takeover scheme. So much like all the other 80s kids movies that were around at the time, it's real estate developers that are the real enemies.
That's what they want you to think of.
Goonies never say die. Toonies never say die.
That was actually... Here's a tangent for you.
Sure.
It's
what we do best.
The Muppet movie that came out, what was it, 10 years ago now? Ish?
Yeah.
Where they painted the oil tycoon, the oil industry, as being the
Yes.
enemy. Representatives of the oil industry were trying to sue or put through a lawsuit for defamation because of the movie.
Uh-huh.
Very similar to it's such a broad stroke idea that to even consider that as lawsuit worthy, I think is ridiculous. But when you just said like saying that real estate developers are the real enemy, it just made me think of and those oil tycoons as well.
Yeah.
They're the real enemy. That's what that Muppet movie was trying to teach young kids, was that you can't trust the oil industry.
And there's nothing like, nothing says get the public on your side by suing the Muppets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, here's my deposition.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember.
Objection! Objection! Yes, Animal is the attorney. That would be the best choice.
Oh my God, we need to make this happen.
Muppets go to court.
The Muppets get sued.
Which movie would it be? To Kill a Muppet Bird?
Oh boy. Oh, poor Big Bird.
A few good Muppets. No, that's it.
A few good Muppets.
A few good Muppets.
You can't handle the truth.
Uh-huh. Hurdy birdie, need me on that wall. Okay.
Oh my God.
Now I just want to hear Jack Nicholson's entire monologue during that scene as the Swedish Chef.
I just saw a video of someone doing Hamilton, but with Muppet characters.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they got to the Guns and Ships song. Is a very fast-paced rap, for those that don't know. But they had the Swedish Chef as the character of Lafayette.
That's perfect.
It was incredible. Anyway,
that's about the only way. That's about the only way you could do it and keep up with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bork, bork, bork. When Doom and the Toon Patrol locate Roger, he and Eddie make a daring escape with the help of Benny, a wisecracking animated taxi. They lay low in a movie theater where Eddie sees a newsreel showing R.K. Maroon selling his studio to Cloverleaf, confirming the growing suspicions that there's something going on here. Eddie confronts Maroon, who admits to blackmailing Acme into selling but denies killing him. Before he can say more, though, Maroon is shot and killed. Eddie sees Jessica fleeing the scene and suspects her involvement, but decides to pursue her into ToonTown, dumping his alcohol and confronting his past. Jessica saves Eddie from being shot by Doom and explains Doom is behind both murders. She was only trying to protect Roger. The missing will was given to her by Acme, but the paper appeared blank. Doom captures them both and unveils his plot to destroy Toontown with Dip to build a freeway and eliminate the competition from public transit. At Acme's factory, Doom ties Roger and Jessica up in front of the dip spraying machine. Eddie distracts and then defeats the Weasels, who literally laugh themselves to death before facing Doom. And then after Doom is flattened by a steamroller, he reinflates, revealing himself as a Toon and the very one who murdered Eddie Valiant, Eddie's brother. Despite Doom's Toon strength, Eddie manages to destroy him by spraying him with dip. The dip machine crashes into Toontown and is destroyed, and in the aftermath, Eddie realizes that Acme's will was written in invisible ink, because why not, revealing that the Toons now legally own Toontown, and Eddie regains his sense of humor, joins the Toons, and embraces a hopeful new chapter in his own life. And that's the movie.
And roll credits.
And roll credits. All right. Now it's time to get into our deeper thoughts on this one.
And now, Deep Thoughts.
I have an opinion on this matter.
Don't mince words, Bones. What do you really think?
I like it a lot.
Wow. It's very deep. Thank you.
All right. I think we both saw this when it first came out, so I'm not even asked the question when was the first time you saw it, but...
Yeah, I saw it twice,
okay.
Actually,
yeah.
in the theater.
I remember seeing it in the theater. I don't remember... We probably just... Typically, with my parents, I don't think we went to go see movies more than one time. It wasn't until I was going to the movie theater myself that I started going multiple times to some movies. But I know this was also one we would have rented regularly once it came out on video.
It's the one of the first movies, if not the first movie, I have a memory of going to see more than once in the theater.
Okay.
Like that, it very, very rarely happened with us as well.
Yeah.
But I think I was just so inundated with this thing that I had to go back.
Yeah.
I know I talked about this in the last episode we did on this, but I went out and I bought a 18-inch, 20-inch Roger Rabbit plush.
Mm-hmm.
That I was very proud of purchasing it because I saved my own money for something and I didn't know what that something was going to be until I saw this movie and I was like, I want one of those. This is amazing. And I still have it somewhere around here. It's in a box somewhere, not too far from where I'm currently sitting. But the second time that I went to see it, I remember I had it on my lap.
Yeah. Well, and I remember too, like I feel like there were a lot of other, you had a bunch of tie-ins with restaurants and things like that, like McDonald's and Burger King and all that other stuff. When we were growing up, you had, just a bunch of different tie-ins. I was trying to remember what those were specifically, but I do remember there being a lot of Roger Rabbit merchandise around at the time. And other than, I feel like growing up, there was a select group of movies that as a kid, I recognized, oh yeah, here's all the merchandise from the movie. I mean, Star Wars was clearly one of them. As a kid, when the Masters of the Universe movie came out, that was another one because I was like, oh, so we get toys of these people that don't really look like the characters I remember from the cartoon. Another one, like I used to collect a lot of trading cards from different movies, like the Batman trading cards, the Ninja Turtle trading cards.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I have any of them now, but I believe I also had tried to start collecting some of the Roger Rabbit cards.
Yeah, outside of the plush that I bought, I don't think I got anything else. I think that symbolized everything I needed to do for me. And I was like, my parents were probably like, you're not getting more toys. You have plenty of things laying around all over. You don't need to start another collection. But to me, that plush that I got was the only thing that I really needed. It exemplified everything that I wanted it to in my love for this movie.
Yeah.
Earlier I mentioned about showing it to my own kids and making sure what would they be more interested in? They'd be more interested in a compelling story. The story in this movie is so well put together.
Oh yeah.
I was looking for, I even did a Google search, like, are people claiming that there's any loopholes or plot holes in this movie? And because I was racking my brain, I was like, I don't like everything falls into place perfectly. And the only thing that I found that people were griping about was at the end when Eddie is singing for the Weasels and he has those iron balls and he throws them up and they all drop on his head.
Yeah.
it should have killed him.
Yeah, yeah.
But to counter that, if you think back to when Roger was taking the handcuffs off,
Mm-hmm.
he's, I can't do it at any time. I can only do it when it would be funny.
Right.
So if the rules of funny apply, then those iron balls hitting Eddie in the head wouldn't kill him.
Wouldn't kill him, yeah.
Because it was done with the intent to be funny.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
So that's kind of the workaround there that I found for the gripes that people had against that part.
Yeah.
Also, if you're going to gripe about that in a movie that combines live action and animated characters, and you're going to get 95% through the film and then say, well, hold on, now I've got a problem with this one part.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down and shut up.
Yeah, go back and watch Citizen Kane for the 171st time.
Yeah, like calm yourself down.
Yeah.
If that's where you're going to start saying, oh, can we hold on a second here?
Yeah.
Something's off.
Yeah.
But the story in and of itself is very well put together. It feels a little bait and switch when they start talking about Cloverleaf, and when you look at the logo for Cloverleaf,
mm-hmm.
now you can and go, yeah, that's an interchange. It's very clearly an interchange. But at the time, at 10 years old, I wasn't thinking that.
Right. The kids are not going to catch that part.
And set in a time period too where an interchange wasn't even a thing.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to be thinking that.
Right.
So as you're watching this movie, you try to put yourself into the mindset of somebody in the time period. So you see that logo and like, oh, it looks like an interesting graphic of a four-leaf clover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now, it makes all the sense in the world when you go, oh no, I know what that really is.
Yeah.
I see how those pieces are being put together. And the fact that then you have Judge Doom behind it. And then you have the reveal of Judge Doom also having been the cartoon that killed Teddy.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like icing on the story cake right there.
Yeah.
And I would love to know more of that backstory. What were they doing? What were they investigating? Or how did they get in a position where Doom was able to literally get the drop on Eddie and Teddy?
Yeah.
Where Eddie came out unscathed and Teddy did not.
Yeah. Fully scathed.
Give me that backstory.
Yeah.
And maybe there's like a I don't know, some sort of mini series or limited series there somewhere of the Valiant brothers.
Mm-hmm.
The Valiant Brothers Detective Agency, and it's set in the same time period, and it's set in a world where Toons and live people interact, where it's not an uncommon thing.
And then you get to learn more about like what are so there are evil cartoons, because most of these other cartoons are pretty, at least fairly good natured, and they're just there to make people laugh. But you clearly have people like Judge Doom and the Weasels, and like there is a dark side. You know what? It's Cool World. That's what it is.
Oh no.
That's the evil side. You know what? If there was ever a part of ToonTown that deserved some dip, I'd drive the dip machine right in the middle of Cool World and spray the whole thing myself.
I think I would help you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think the story is very complete. I think Eddie Valiant is a great character,
mm-hmm.
and Bob Haskins played him so well. Like Bob Haskins understood the assignment.
Yeah.
I would love to have been in there in the pitch meetings to him. Like, okay, so you're going to play this detective, but you're kind of a sourpuss. You're gruff. You're not happy because you have this brother that was killed. Oh, okay. A cartoon character dropped a piano on his head. Hold on. Stay with me. You're going to find you're going to rebound from this tragedy by helping out a cartoon rabbit that's framed for murder. Like, how do you pitch this? How do you sell this to someone like Bob Hoskins?
And none of your co-stars will actually be there.
Yeah. Yeah, and we don't want you to be funny.
Right. Yeah, play this as seriously as you can.
It's the same logic with Michael Caine in Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
You're not in it to be the funny guy.
Right.
You're in it to be the serious guy.
You pretend this is like the most serious rendition of Scrooge anybody's ever done.
And that's why Muppet Christmas Carol worked.
Yeah.
It's on his performance alone.
Mm-hmm. And
right?
I to the same degree, I don't think this works without Bob Hoskins doing the job.
Well, and that's where having Bill Murray in that role would be I don't think it would have worked.
No.
Bill Murray at that time, like I said, wasn't playing, the straight man.
Right. Unless Bill Murray could somehow show some range he had not shown up to that point, I don't see this movie working with him as Eddie Valiant.
Because you think about other movies that he did and other characters he played in the 80s, which, broad stroke, not a lot of depth to a lot of his characters.
Right. They're almost about the same.
He's the same character in a lot of his films where, when push comes to shove, he's a smartass and he, makes a crude or funny comment to get out of things.
It's like listening to a Dave Matthews Band greatest hit album.
Yeah. Well played. So you're not going to get the seriousness out of Bill Murray that you need for the ridiculousness of Roger Rabbit.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Because you need Roger Rabbit's ridiculousness to build up for him to become more endearing to us as viewers. And you need opportunity for him to work through that so you can start seeing the heart of the character. And the only way that happens is off of someone that's not trying to clown with him, but trying to suppress that. So, yeah, Bob Hoskins, I thought, was fantastic in this role. One of my favorite Bob Hoskins roles. When you look at the list of his credits.
Yeah.
And this is right up there, with a top 3 Bob Hoskins roles, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. If you just back to the Bill Murray thing for a split second, if you look at the movies he was doing around this time, it was really Little Shop of Horrors, kind of right before this, Scrooged, Ghostbusters 2, and What About Bob and Groundhog Day came a few years after. So, I mean, honestly, they're all pretty much kind of the same character.
Yeah. So I suspect that would be the type of character that he would have brought to Eddie Valiant, and it just wouldn't have worked.
Right.
And it wouldn't have been successful.
Yeah.
Or not as successful as it ended up being.
So I have a question for you that's a little bit like semi-related to this movie.
Okay.
It kind of feels like once you hit maybe like the mid to late 80s, that a lot of kind of like the golden age of animation, even like the golden age of 80s cartoons, it seems like it's kind of coming to an end. And then all of a sudden you have this resurgence of animation in the early 90s. You've got Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, Batman animated series. You've got all these things that are coming up in the 90s. Do you think that this movie had anything to do with that? Was it that as things were winding down in the 80s, people had been oversaturated with cartoons?
I think I want to be careful how I say this. I think it definitely it was part of the equation for the resurgence of cartoons. I think the Disney catalog in the late 80s, the Disney catalog in the early to mid 80s did a lot to kind of say animation's done.
Yeah.
I mean, if Disney can't animate right and animate a compelling story, then nobody can. And Disney and animation is going away. I mean, Disney was close to closing up shop on their entire animation department.
Right.
In the 80s. And it wasn't until The Little Mermaid came out that all of a sudden it was like, oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. That came out a year before Roger Rabbit, I believe.
Actually, I think it was the year after.
Little Mermaid, I thought, was 88.
This one was 88. I thought Little Mermaid was 89.
Oh, maybe. Oh, could be.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, Little Mermaid was 89. So this one was 88. Okay. Little Mermaid's 89.
So, so you have Roger Rabbit, and then you have Little Mermaid, and then you have that handful of incredible animated films from Disney.
Right.
Out because they follow Little Mermaid with Aladdin.
I think Aladdin came next.
And then you have Beauty and the Beast, and then you have Lion King in there. They also had Rescuers Down Under that
Yeah.
They pretty much pulled the plug on right after it came out and let that dwindle away. But because those other movies, along with Roger Rabbit, featuring animation, I think brought a little bit of a resurgence back to, oh no, there's still an audience for for animation.
Yeah.
You take a look at Roger Rabbit and you say, I think there's an audience, an older audience for animation, which is how you can start getting away with things like some of the stuff they did in Tiny Toons.
Right.
Stuff they did in Animaniacs.
Right.
Right. I mean, you and I have talked about that one, the fingerprints show.
I don't think so.
Like, I don't know how they got that on Animaniacs, but I do think it ties into, there's an appeal to an older generation of animation. That's why you're able to start getting a darker Batman animated series.
Right. Yeah, I don't know that you do that without Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
So I feel that Roger Rabbit was part of the equation, along with the successful Disney animated movies that came out late 80s, early 90s that kind of gave animation a resurgence.
Yeah.
Then you start getting into the idea of, well, what if now we're going to get away from hand-drawn animation. We're going to get away from stop motion animation, and we're going to bring in computers.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things that I wanted to talk about with the whole group of us, and that's why I'm bummed they're not here. But, looking at it now, and like I said, knowing what my kids are exposed to now in terms of here's your TV show, is there a line between computer animated movies and CGI effects? That's a question that I ponder a lot now. I started thinking about that when I saw Pacific Rim.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was like, so much of this movie is just computers.
Yeah.
It's all done on computers. Like, how is this not considered an animated film if so much of it needed computers to animate? So that's really when I started thinking about this idea of like, well, what is animation now? Hand-drawn animation was still being utilized, but that is has come so far to be pretty antiquated by a lot of major studios that their quote unquote major animated films are being done on computer.
Yeah.
So if what's considered an animated film is being done on a computer, again, I ask the question, where's the line between what an animated film is versus animated CGI effects in a film?
Yeah.
Is it that a CGI film has live action for live actors?
I think that's what it should be. I think if you're looking at the difference between the two of them, then for animation, then the art is the movie, whereas CGI, what it should be used for is, I think, a tool to enhance a live action movie. But if it gets to the point where it's too much, where the entire movie is basically CGI, then at that point, like that's where some of the stuff where I feel like George Lucas went a little too overboard with some of the CGI in the Star Wars movies. There are times where I look at, say, for example, Attack of the Clones, not my favorite of the Star Wars movies by any stretch, and I look at that one sometimes and I go, you might have done more than you should have with this. Like this is too much CGI. Yeah, that's probably the way I would define it. It's like there's a certain amount of artwork. It is a piece of art when you have the animation that's built kind of from the ground up, from the animators, from the creators, whereas the CGI stuff, I feel like it should just be used to enhance the live action story.
I just feel like that line is getting more and more blurred.
Oh, it totally is. Yeah.
As time goes on, even so much so when you get to award seasons, and you start looking at, well, why is this considered animated and this one's not?
Yeah. Well, and take that kind of debate a bit of a step further. I don't know if you've seen some of the news articles lately. There's a bit of an uproar in Hollywood because there is I'm trying to remember what her name is. I say her, what its name is. There is an AI created actress, and somebody made a movie and used this AI actress in the movie, and that kind of put Hollywood into a bit of an uproar. And then I was reading a related article that apparently there is also an AI director that I don't recall if it was a movie or something on TV or something that was more of like a streaming service. But so now there's all these arguments over AI directing your movie. So it was yeah.
But look at what is it? The Star Wars movie, Rogue One.
Yeah.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Oh, Tarkin, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
dude's dead. He's been dead a long time.
Yeah.
And yet there he is appearing in a new movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just something that I wrestle with. And like, I understand the distinction, but at the same time, when I start looking at it, trying to be fair about it, like, well, hold on. Like how far apart are these two different categories when we really look at what's being done with them?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not opposed to using a lot of CGI.
Sure.
Guy Captain's one of my favorite films.
Oh yeah.
That was a whole lot of blue screen.
Yeah.
And nothing else. But just given where the state of the medium is now, I keep going back and forth about it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I'm not as gung-ho to show this movie to my kids, because I know they're not going to have the same reaction that I had.
Right.
And I had to come to that realization, like, oh wait, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
If you go into this saying, you kids are going to love this, I love this movie, I saw it when I was this old, and oh my God, and this, that, and the other, they're going to look at it and go, okay, and?
Mm-hmm. At this point, do you wait until they're older and maybe hope that one or more of them has a similar appreciation for movies and the craft of movies and things like that you do, and then that's when you strategically show it, because then you can show it as almost like a time capsule of this is what things were like before everything was inundated with AI and CGI and all this other stuff that we use now. Is that then
maybe
that then when you show it? Yeah.
When I did do my rewatch, I was home with my 6-year-old. He was homesick from school.
Yeah.
And he watched part of it with me.
Okay.
But I was kind of watching him watch the movie just to see, how he would respond. And there was nothing that happened. He was like, oh my God, that's amazing. How did that happen?
Right. It's just another cartoon.
Although interestingly enough, I do have video of the first time that I showed my oldest, who's now 7 and a half.
Yeah.
The first time I showed him Jurassic Park.
Okay.
It was around 4 and a half years old.
Yeah.
I took video of him watching that first, the Welcome to Jurassic Park moment, where the camera pans back and you see the huge brachiosaur and the music swells. So I have a great video of that, and the amazement on his face is, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I don't know if just because it's dinosaurs, and even at a young age, he knew dinosaurs couldn't exist anymore. And yet there they were on the screen in such a real fashion, but cartoons and live action together won't have the same. I don't know. It's just kind of in a really weird big gray area.
I want to pause for a moment and say thank you for raising your children to understand the distinction between fiction and nonfiction, because recently in my class I was showing a clip from a John Adams TV show related to the Boston Massacre, and I had some students who, as we were watching, I paused it at one point and I said, okay, so now in this show, what's going to happen is they're not going to find any of the British soldiers guilty. But in real life, 2 of the British soldiers were found guilty during this trial. And I had, in each of my different class periods, I had at least one student in probably each of my different class periods kind of raise their hand and be like, wait, what do you mean, like, in real life? Like, this isn't the real John Adams?
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, that was kind of one of my first responses, too. I was like, wait a minute, hold on.
That's when I probably would have just taken my ID off and laid it on my desk and walked out of the building.
Uh-huh. Would have been like those cop shows where it's like, nope, I'm out. Like taking my badge off, leaving it there. To their credit, there was also someone in each of those class periods that asked a question, something along the lines of, when did you think video cameras were invented?
Okay, so that helps.
Okay, all right. So it's not everybody then, but I have noticed that it seems like sometimes when I have showed some video clips to try to emphasize something in class, that of the students that we have, they have a hard time distinguishing between what is fiction and what is nonfiction. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, then I don't even know necessarily how somebody would take something like a Roger Rabbit or a Jurassic Park or a, I don't know if that's a broader problem in society where because we have so much that's CGI and AI, and sometimes it's indistinguishable between what's real and what's not, is that starting to cause children that are growing up now to not know the difference between what's real and what's not real? So I'm glad that your child was able to recognize that dinosaurs are not real.
Yeah, I mean, I think any kid though knows that when you start talking about when they go through their dinosaur phase,
Right.
they know these are extinct animals. They
Yeah.
know they no longer exist. There's no way for them to be real.
You'd hope so, yeah.
Yeah, you can only hope.
Mhm.
So, like I said, when I showed Thomas Jurassic Park for the first time, and I have a great video of him, and he turns around and just give me this huge smile, like he can't believe what he's seeing.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's the reaction that I wanted to get from him.
I just, in my brain, I just created a brand new mashup movie because the first thing that popped into my head when I said you would hope that kids would recognize that dinosaurs are not real. I'm hearing the characters from Willy Wonka, but Daddy, I want a T-Rex now. and so my mashup movie is now Willy Wonka's Jurassic Park.
That would be.
What if Willy Wonka? Yeah, trade John Hammond with Willy Wonka, and he's been put in charge of Jurassic Park.
That would be something.
Come with me, and you'll be eaten probably within the first 30 minutes.
Given the success of Roger Rabbit, to me, it makes me sad that he doesn't have a bigger presence in Disney.
Yeah.
There's a ride in Disneyland in California.
Sure.
That's a Roger Rabbit themed ride.
Yeah.
But other than that, he has no presence anymore.
Right.
Which is too bad. There was supposed to be another Roger Rabbit, either land or one or two rides, I think, at Hollywood Studios.
Okay.
If anyone's ever been to Disney's Hollywood Studios in Orlando, there's a part of the park you walk down. It's just a long stretch of road, Sunset Boulevard, and you end up at Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror down at the other end. Along that stretch is where there was supposed to be a Roger Rabbit ride, along with a Dick Tracy dark ride, and what was it? The South Seas Club from the Rocketeer.
Oh yeah,
that was all supposed to be along that stretch, and because Rocketeer and Dick Tracy didn't perform like Disney wanted them to, all of that got scrapped. But I wish there was a larger presence of Roger Rabbit in the theme parks, because to be as successful as he was, and then also just almost literally wiped from existence in modern Disney, it's too bad.
Yeah. Here's one thing I if anybody from any Disney executives, if you're listening, if you want to bring more recognition back for Roger Rabbit and do something really cool with modern technology, here would be my recommendation. Is what have you got? You've got 3-ish years, 2.5, 3 years. That's probably not enough time. 2.5, 3 years until this is hitting the 40th anniversary. If you had to do it, maybe you've got 10 years-ish, 12 years until the 50th anniversary. But what you should do is let's perfect the kind of virtual reality, augmented reality stuff, or holograms or something, and create a ToonTown with actual holograms that can walk around and interact with you in that land. Or if you got to put on some glasses and have it be augmented reality, where you can kind of walk around and interact in that particular part of the park with cartoon characters that are just like walking around with you and interacting with the environment and like that. Do that. That would be a cool use of the technology.
Well, they had a Roger Rabbit walk around character for a number of years.
Yeah.
and even that's just kind of, I mean, when they bring out rare characters now, he's not even part of the equation anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, do we have anything else before we jump to 3 questions? Do we have anything else?
It's up to us to keep him alive.
It is. So maybe we'll just do a rewatch every 10 years.
It'll be more than that.
I mean, more than that, yes, but yeah. On the podcast, we could feature it every 10 years on the podcast.
There we go.
There you go.
I would like to hear at some point, let me know Nora's take on Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
She would have seen it at a time when special effects were, or that type of combination of animation and live action. Because she was born.
She was 2010.
2010, yeah. So I'd be very interested to hear her response to the idea of, like, are you amazed at all by the animation, or is that not even a blip on your radar?
Yeah. I'll have to ask her, because I want to say, I mean, she, to a degree, she has the same interest in movies and film and like the making of and some of the technical stuff. Like, she has a similar interest in that I do. And I don't know, I'd have to ask her, but I don't know if she would have felt that way about it if I had just sat her down and had her watch it. But I think when we sat down to watch it, I was also sometimes explaining, hey, they didn't have this back then, and this was a brand new thing, and this was so if I hadn't shared my commentary, I don't know if she would have had, because she really does, she likes the movie. And she was bummed. She's like, well, you could call me out of school today and I could come on the podcast. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not happening. So she does like the movie, and she's like, yeah, I'd love to come on the podcast sometime. So I'll see if I can get her, if I could sit her down with a microphone and record some thoughts. But yeah, I'd like to hear from her about what her take is on that, being much younger than we are, but also not quite as young as your kids are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anywho, okay. Do we have 3 questions? Do we not?
I have 3 questions for you. Are you ready for 3 questions?
I am. I'm running out of time a little bit, but let's
we can rapid fire these. Let's rapid fire these, like 3 giant metal balls dropped on our head.
Okay.
He asks each traveler 5 questions. 3 questions. 3 questions.
It's impossible to answer.
Impossible because you don't know the answer.
Nobody could answer that question.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
All right, question number 1. If you lived in ToonTown and had to have a Toon roommate, who would it be?
I already don't like this game. Maybe the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, that'd be nice. Plenty of pizza.
Yeah. There you go.
I think my choice would be Baloo, because he seems like he'd be a fun guy.
All right.
A fun guy, and he looks like he enjoys food.
There you go.
So I'd go with that.
Kind of just laid back.
Yeah. I don't think things would be too stressful in that apartment. Question number 2, are there any cartoon characters that aren't in this movie that you would have loved to have seen?
I don't think so, because you have to look at the time period of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the time setting of the movie, I think they got the right characters for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would make sense to have taken any modern cartoon characters and tried to put them in the film.
Yeah. There was a cartoon I remember really enjoying when I was growing up, and apparently I thought I read somewhere that there might have been a deleted scene where they have Marvin Acme's funeral, and that some other characters were supposed to show up in that scene. The one I would have loved to have seen was Mighty Mouse, because I always used to love Mighty Mouse.
Oh yeah, maybe Mighty Mouse, maybe Popeye.
Yeah. And I think I read somewhere Mighty Mouse was originally planned to be in the Acme's funeral scene.
Yeah, other than that, I'd have to look at a list of what characters were around at that time.
Yeah. All right, and then question 3, and this is more of like a hypothetical question. How do you think would you, if this movie came out, but instead of Roger Rabbit, they decided to use an already established character, how do you think that would have changed things? Like, I don't, if it's a Bugs Bunny or if it's a,
I think it wouldn't have worked because by creating a new character, there's no sentimentality to it. So you could find out that that character is a murderer if that's how they want to write the story.
Yeah.
If they put Bugs Bunny or Mickey Mouse in there, you know that Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse are going to be found not guilty.
Sure.
Right? You know that it's all going to be definitely going to be a setup for them because no studio is going to, you know, wipe out one of their or a well-known, well-loved character. So I think you need to have an original character in that role so that your audience doesn't know how this whole thing's going to play out by having Roger and Jessica, Baby Herman, Benny the Cab, the Weasels, Judge Doom, like this whole group of animated characters that no one's ever seen before. This movie can go either way. This movie can go in a lot of different directions. And then you populate it with the other cartoon characters to give it some more plausibility and believability in terms of, you know, is Roger Rabbit a viable character? He is. He hangs out with Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny. But I don't love Roger Rabbit because I don't know anything about him. I've never seen this guy before. I've never, don't even know if he's ever actually been in any cartoons before. So if they want to find him guilty and send him away to jail, all right.
Yeah.
You're not going to break my heart. Now, after having seen the film, if that's the way that they ended it, I would have been upset. But going into it with an unknown or a character with no history, got to be open to anything.
Yeah. And it just takes too long. If you got Porky Pig on trial for murder, it just, for him, like, how do you plead? I plea, not guilty, Your Honor. Like, okay, the runtime of this is not 3 hours. It's let's move it along.
Can you tell us where you were that evening? I was walking down the street and oh my God, this movie's gonna be forever.
I was hanging out with Petunia and the and Papa the sailor man. Yes, we don't need to know his name. It's okay. Move along.
Papa. No, please stop. Please. Yeah. You're spitting on the jury.
And then we hung out with the Ninja Turtles, and they ordered a bunch of okay, no, that's it. Just forget it. Not guilty. Go home. Get out of here.
Not guilty. Go home.
Just done. Leave.
Well,
good times. All right. Well, I am glad we got to talk Roger Rabbit.
What's that?
I'm glad we got to talk Roger Rabbit.
Me too. I'm glad this worked out. And like I said, I wish the other guys could have made it. I know that we were on a schedule crunch trying to get this into our Crime and Punishment month. And I apologize that
no worries.
Before now into October. But it's Crime and Punishment month adjacent. So yes. I think that works.
Crime. There's still, even though we're in a different month, there's still a lot of crime and a lot of punishment to go around. If you ask Porky Pig, there's a lot of crime and Shut up, Porky. Somebody hit him in the back of the head. See if that helps. All right. Everybody, thank you for joining us. If you are catching the rest of our episodes from Crime and Punishment Month, we did Heat, Casino, Strange Days, and Copycat. As we are in or approaching the month of October, we've got some other fun stuff coming up. We've got The Prophecy, Vampire in Brooklyn, The Addiction, Jacob's Ladder is going to be our 10th anniversary rewatch for the month of October, Dracula, Dead and Loving It, and Species. And then our Patreon episodes are Lord of Illusions from 1995 and Tank Girl from 1995. I'm not quite sure how Tank Girl fits into horror month, but maybe, because some people think it's a horrible movie. I don't know.
Wait, did you say horror or?
I said horror.
Oh.
Yes.
Like, well, I mean, that could be a tie-in.
Yeah, they possibly. Yeah. All right. Everybody, thank you for being here with us. Come on back next week for another great movie. But in the meantime, go watch some good movies. Be excellent to each other. Go watch some good movies. And we'll see you back here next time.
Bring the lights down low, it's time to show. Lights, camera, you know what we mean. Behold the magic of the silver screen. Some